Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this very special occasion right here on my channel from Inside Out. Thank you guys so much for joining. I'm your host, Jay. What a major milestone, guys, we have right now going on with me and my channel. As you guys can see in the title description of this live, we're going to be dealing with the celebration of being on YouTube for 5 years. Man, what an awesome milestone that is. Real quick, I'm going to let you take a few minutes and whatnot to get in here. And once I start seeing people getting here, we'll go ahead and continue the celebration right here on my channel for being, again, on YouTube for 5 years. On this very day, June, what is it? Excuse me, apologize. June 20th. Wow, imagine that. June 20th, 2018 is when I started this podcast. And believe it or not, here we are, June 20th, 2023. And we reached our 5-year milestone. What an awesome thing. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So right now, there's nobody in here yet. I'm waiting for certain people to get in here. I've tagged a lot of people, so hopefully they'll get in here and be part of the celebration. This is also the point during our celebration here, guys, ladies and gentlemen. This is your point too, to put in your comments, your concerns, your issues, whatever it may be right here on this channel. And I'm talking everything from prison related issues and all of that. So if you guys want to get in here and discuss, whatever it may be, please do. And I'll do what I can to answer accordingly. One second here. Bear with me, guys. I don't know if you guys can hear me or anything. Give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear me. I got a lot of things going on right here on my plate. So trying to get everybody's, trying to find my live, and I don't know why nobody can find it. If I tagged you, you should be getting notifications. If you got that notification bell turned on, you should be notified when I'm live. So bear with me for 1 second, guys, please. A lot of stuff going on here. So, all right, guys. So real quick, again, there's nobody in here that I can see. Nobody's watching. That's fine. I got my colleague that's getting ready to call in here shortly. And again, I got people talking to me. Bear with me. I got a lot of stuff going on right now, so just bear with me, folks. Anyways, I got my colleague that's going to call in a bit later. She's got something special for this celebration coming up here soon, so bear with me on that. Again, there's nobody in here for whatever reason. Let's see what we got going on here. Again, guys, going live, this is what happens. All right. So is there a connection issue going on right now? Because there's nobody in here, and I tagged a lot of people, over 15 people. Oh, there's one person out here watching. The one person that's watching right now, can you please tell me who you are in the chat? Say hi, please. Let me know who you are. See if you get this. Oh, Jay. Oh, okay. There you are. JH said, I said June 20th, 2018 as year of start. Yes, correct. Have been on since not able to type. Savannah, how's it going? Nice to see you, Savannah. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Bear with me. I'm still waiting for people to get in here. Share this this live with your platforms and your friends and followers that you have so more people can get in here. This is a celebration of 5 years being on YouTube. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. JH, you said I had all the answers but couldn't type. Yeah, it's because you were watching a old video of mine, and that wasn't live. This is live right now. So now you're in the chat. Now you can talk. Now I'm on the chat. Awesome show. Thank you. Jay. Jay Lee is my locked up loved one. I go by Jay, and my locked up loved one is Jay Lee. Jay Lee, short for Jennifer Lee, just for correction. Savannah said sharing. Thank you, Savannah. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. It's an awesome program, Jay Lee, too. Yeah, Jay Lee's the founder and owner from Inside Out. She's the one that started this whole thing. I'm just the one running it out here for her as she's locked up. So this was her idea and all that. So we got, like I said, she's the one basically that came up with the whole entire program, the whole idea. I'm just the person running it out here for her while she's locked up. Hope that makes sense. Shared it on my Twitter page. Thank you. I appreciate you. So as I'm waiting for her to call on the hot phone, and wait, actually, she's calling me right now, so bear with me. Sorry, guys, this is a little corny. What's up, Nassar? All right, I got my colleague and founder and owner from Inside Out on the hot phone right now. She wants to be part of this celebration. So again, please say hi if you can, please, to my colleague, my sister, my best friend, Jay Lee. Jay Lee, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Jay. It's a great honor to be here. It's definitely a wonderful and exciting time for us on this podcast channel. Been going strong for 5 years. Definitely loving being here with all our fans and friends, and it's time to celebrate. Let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, I couldn't have this moment or this milestone if it wasn't for you creating this podcast. And we got a lot of fans in here right now. So let me go ahead and kind of read off some people that are in here. And please, everybody that are in here, please say hi to my colleague and my sister and my best friend, Jay Lee, the founder and owner from Inside Out. So let's go read some names off real quick. And Jay Lee, you can say hi to all these people if you want. First off, I got JH in here. She's the one that's been communicating me on communication, if you will, on Twitter and whatnot, hooking me up with other potential podcasts, the radio station out here in my state for the Christian radio station. JH is a pretty solid individual. I got a lot of love and respect for her. So say hi to JH.
Good afternoon, JH, and thank you for being a fan of the show and tuning in. It's a great honor to have you here as a loyal fan, and definitely looking forward to working together on many different projects as we move forward to make change happen in a positive way from Inside Out.
Right, thank you. And then, of course, we got Savannah. She's in here. And I'm not sure if she's on Twitter or not, or follows me on Twitter. I think she follows me on YouTube. Nonetheless, say hi to Savannah.
Good afternoon, Savannah. Thanks you so much for being here. It's a great honor to have you here. And we're hoping that we can also work together on projects. The goal, obviously, is to build up the fan base because the more people we get in here, the more we can get the word out and the more change can happen. So thank you so much for tuning in.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dave, for that. And of course, one more person. This is the person that's in Georgia prison right now watching us live. And you know how. I'm not going to get into the details on that. Nazar. And again, I apologize, sir, if I'm beating up your name and I can't pronounce it right. I don't do that intentionally. It's just, some names are hard for me to pronounce. But nonetheless, Jay Lee, say hi to Nazar or Nazar. He's in Georgia prison. I got a podcast trying to work out with him on that. So say hi to him, please, in Georgia.
Welcome, sir, and good afternoon to you, and thank you for taking time to tune in and contributing to this podcast channel. We have a lot of things in store for this channel, and a lot of movement is happening in the positive direction. We really appreciate you tuning in and being a part of this, and let's work together to get your voice out there as well. So thank you so much. Absolutely,
and again, guys, if you join in or you want to be a part of this, make sure you guys hit and smash the like button, sub button. Comment down below what you think of this live and be a part of this celebration. Of course, share this, get it out there so other people can be a part of it. Savannah just got in here and said, yes, I would love to be a guest also to share my experience through the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Absolutely. Let me work it out. I'll try to get you in here and put you up on my podcast. Absolutely. The more knowledge and whatnot that we can get out there, the better it is. JH said, yes, we want to hear your comments. Absolutely. Everybody that wants to do a podcast, get a hold of me right now. Let's hook up. Let's try to get scheduled. Everybody that's in here wants to do a podcast. If you want to get a hold of me, you can do it either on the chat here, or you can get a hold of me right now at my email at voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. Email me and we'll go from there. Again, we have 4 people in here now watching. Hopefully I get everybody that I tagged. I tagged like 15 plus people, Jaylee. So hopefully we get a good, huge turnout for this celebration for being on here for 5 years. What a milestone. Jaylee, I understand before we go any further that you have quite of an update, but I don't know if you want to do your update now or you want to do it later, or if you can hit on anything, you can do that real quick and go from there. Let me know what's on your agenda, what you got on your plate, anything exciting going on for this topic or for this podcast from Inside Out. Floor is yours, Jaylee. Go ahead.
Thank you, Jay. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're going to be introducing a brand new segment once a week starting today. So we'll get to that segment in a minute. It's going to be called Imagine Math. But before we get to this brand new segment with some very important updates, kind of wanted to pose some questions to our co-host Jay. Because we've been riding this road together for 5 years, and I kind of wanted to pick your brain and kind of put you in the hot seat.
Oh, I see how you are. I see how you are. So you had this whole thing planned, didn't you?
Well, a little bit in the back of my mind, but more importantly, I think it's important to get your perspective emotionally and mentally, because you've been doing a lot of the work behind the scenes, keeping this thing alive, and so I think it's very appropriate on a day like this just to kind of interview you with a few questions and get your perspective on things.
Oh, then fire away, Jaylee. Go ahead. I'm somewhat prepared.
Yeah, well, of course, first and foremost, one of the most important questions is what, in your experience on this show, has been the most exciting moment or the most important moment that you've experienced? And a little details would be helpful for a fan.
Well, wow. Talk about putting me on the spot here. One second. I'll get to the answer just a second. Savannah just said, send it to me direct message, please. I'll do that. Absolutely. And Nassar, the one that's in the prison, Georgia prison, has to go, unfortunately. And I get it. I understand. No issues there. I'll see you on the next one and we'll stay in communication. I got your number, my friend. We'll stay in communication and I'll work out the podcast scenario as best I can. It's all me here. So just, like I said, be patient with me. Let's see who else has got anything going on in here. Okay. So, Jaylee, real quick, repeat that question for me so I can give out the right answer.
Yeah. In the past 5 years, in your experience, what has been the most important moment, or most exciting moment on this show that you witnessed or experienced?
I would have to say, great question. I would have to say, pulling through all the negative situations going on with our trolls and haters. I think that was a major milestone. I've been shut down on Facebook. I've been shut down on other platforms, but I still have not, in the 5 year anyways, been shut down here on YouTube. And they tried to shut me down here on YouTube, but I think I overcome that. and obviously with the 5-year celebration here on YouTube. So that's a pretty goddamn good milestone, Jay Lee.
Yeah, no, absolutely. A lot of hard work to keep your sanity, and at the same time, a lot of hard work to combat all the hatred that came your way because you're exposing truth here. So kudos to you, and congratulations on all the hard work and what you've been able to do to keep this alive despite all the haters in the background. So very, very proud of you.
Yeah, and it's funny because no matter how hard they try, just like anything else that's happening in my life, they can try, but a lot of them have not been very successful. And that's not a bragging moment. That's just right. That's not a bragging moment, ladies and gentlemen, and Jay Lee. That's just a person's mindset's a little bit more stronger and can get past their little game, if you will, that they're playing. But nothing stops me, and they can't do nothing to hurt me. So there's a pretty dang awesome thing right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, you're right to speak your voice and to have that space is very important for you and, of course, anybody else that has a voice that needs to get out there. And so I think it's very exciting that you're able to keep this alive for 5 years despite all of the heartaches, troubles, and the struggles you've gone through. So definitely very proud of you. And that moves on to our next question because it's somewhat in the same vein. After all the haters that came after you and you were able to basically survive through all that, what would be the best advice to give to somebody else that's going through the same thing that you went through?
Absolutely awesome question, Jay Lee. I appreciate that question, by the way. To my answer to that, respectfully, and to be honest with you, I would have to say, don't give up. Life can throw us curveballs in every direction. If you have a strong mindset and you got your faith where it needs to be and so many other things, you will be successful on all things that come your way. We have bumps in the road, and we will continue to have bumps in the road. And if you feel down and out and all of that, don't give up on yourself just because somebody over there in the background is running their mouth and trying to discourage you and rain on your parade. Don't give up. Be strong and plow through it. That's my answer to that question.
That's right. Yeah, wonderful.
Savannah, sorry, Jay Lee.
To you for everything you've done to stand on your own 2 feet and keep plunging forward on this. You've actually walked miles in the snow barefooted and were able to survive without any effects on your feet. That's just an analogy, but yeah, most people in your position would not be able to survive through the first year. But look, you've survived 5 years now, so it's definitely a momentous occasion. And celebrate yourself today, Jay, because you deserve it.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I'll probably have a cold one on myself and for the whole duration of this podcast, and also tip one back for everybody else here that are watching. Savannah said they don't want to face the truth about what happened so that they don't have to make changes. Absolutely. See, this doesn't affect them. I'll put it this way. If you don't have a locked up loved one, and I'm talking about the haters and the trolls, if the haters and trolls don't have a locked up loved one or have ever been through the system, it don't affect them. They don't care. But as soon as it affects them, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, as soon as it affects them, now it matters. And that's what they do. It says J.H. got in here and said, thank you for making possible our united voice, Jay. You're absolutely, it's a privilege. I wouldn't do it, of course, if it wasn't for other people that help me. I got a big support group. I couldn't do this by myself, and that's the truth right there. This is a stressful thing, but I can't give up. I can't stop. It is what it is, and these people out here need me. And I'm going to put the truth out. Speaking of which, Jay Lee, hold off for your next question real quick. I'm sorry to do this, but I wanted to get this out there real quick before it's fresh in my mind before I forget. If anybody right now is living in Texas, I keep track of the weather. There's 2 weather events that I want to put up here real quick before we go any further with this celebration. I want you all to understand that summer is pretty much here. And we got 2 major weather events that we're keeping an eye on right now. Number 1, in Texas, we have a major ass heat wave kicking in right now, 100 plus temps in Texas. If you have a locked up loved one in Texas and D.O.C. is turning off the AC deliberately, or there's a maintenance issue or something like that, get a hold of me right now. get a hold of me right now, and I will steer you in the right direction or help you fix this issue. The ACs, when it's hot like this, need to stay on and keep them on. D.O.C. has the power to turn them off and all of that. And if you are one of those people, and if D.O.C. is doing that, I'll be making a shitstorm out of this. You can guarantee it. I do not put up with that type of treatment. It gets hot in there, people die in there, and it's got to stop. So again, anybody in Texas, get a hold of me right now. Voices from insideout@gmail.com. And we'll take care of the problem if it's going on. And it's all southern states too, by the way, not just Texas. The second thing I wanted to get you guys put some attention on is that we have a possible hurricane/storm trekking along on the Atlantic. We'll keep you more updated on it, where it's going to head, if it's going to hit me or anybody else here in Florida. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. It's getting stronger, but I don't have any other updates. Only thing I do have is there's a potential hurricane brewing in the Atlantic. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. And of course, that's also going to affect our locked up loved ones in prisons out here in the southern states. JH got in here and says, what about a podcast on laws that need resentencing laws to match when they are changed? Good example is the marijuana laws where people got long sentences. Now those states are legalized, so release people. Absolutely, I agree. Those laws marijuana beefs are petty. I'll touch on that if I have more time in another podcast or at the later part of this show. Thank you for that comment, JH. I appreciate it. Jay Lee, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. Laws definitely need to change when it comes to substance use, or what they might consider, in the state's opinion, substance abuse. The laws have been arbitrary and capricious for far too long. People have done far too much time in prison for this, when really they should have received therapy and treatment. Prisons turned into mental health wards when it should have been designed as a place of therapy. I got to tell you, that's kind of touching home with me. I've met a lot of people over the past 30 years being incarcerated where they were in for low-level drug crimes and are facing long periods of time. It just does not make any logical sense to me. And so, yes, absolutely, the laws need to change in all 50 states, not just some of the states where they have changed. And it needs to be more equal, and the justice system needs to be less unjust when it comes to these topics.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you. I mean, keeping people like that locked up for years on end is just petty. Absolutely petty. But again, keep in mind, it's a multi-million-dollar business, guys. An empty bed is no money. A full bed is money. So do your math. Go ahead, Jaylee.
Yeah, it's a great point, because really it all boils down to the good almighty dollar. And, taxpayers pay for the building of prisons in your own backyard. So you got to really look at the prisons and jails built in your own backyard and start analyzing, well, first and foremost, why did they feel the need to build more prisons and more jails, when really they should have built other health institutions or places of higher education or places that help people who have substance abuse problems or addictions. They're not doing good with the money. The money's going in the wrong place, and that's why we have so many problems.
Well, it's not going to anything. Not just that, but it's not going anywhere. It's not going for programs. It's not going for what it's needed to be to fix the problem in our prisons, and it's a disgrace. Brian got in here and said, "Congrats, bro." Thank you very much, Brian. I appreciate you. So again, JH got in here. JH, thank you. I appreciate you chiming in here and making all these comments. How can we get to people who can write the new laws that release these people? Jay Lee, you want to answer that question again? The question, how can we get to people who can write the new laws that release these people? Great question, Jay Lee. Your answer?
Yes, those will be your state's legislative representatives or your state senators. They're the ones that can take your complaints and your concerns by a business letter or phone calls to them, and they can take those complaints and start writing up new bills to be brought to the floor of either the House or the Senate in order to pass those bills, and then the governor signs it into law. So essentially, it all starts with a campaign, whether it's a mass mail program where you're having a lot of people write letters to your senator or your legislative representative, or a phone campaign where you have a lot of people getting on your cell phones that start calling up your representatives and getting them to introduce new bills to get the law changed.
Absolutely. Great answer. Savannah said treatment, not incarceration. Man, I can't be any more happier for that comment right there, Savannah. Thank you so much for that comment. You're absolutely 110% correct. Treatment, not incarceration. How about this too? How about build more mental hospitals instead of new prisons? That's another solution.
Yeah.
J8 said, okay, excellent. We'll call on behalf of someone stuck 32 years, not anyone I know, but I like his Twitter page and who he is to reform for prison treatment and release. Ban long-term sentences. Absolutely. So in a nutshell, get a hold of your lawmakers, get a hold of your governors, get a hold of the bigwigs that run and pass these laws. And it's easy to do in a sense. You can either walk your butt down to the state capitol or you can email, call, and do all that too as well if you don't want to leave your comfort of your own home. So it is what it is on that. And JH said, good motto, excellent solution. Absolutely. Why build more prisons? So we can fill them up and go right back to where we were again? Oh, that's right. Fill that one up and build another one. Fill that one up and build another one. That's the solution that the state and the government sees.
You have 1 minute left.
All right, Jay Lee, you can call back. And then we'll call back and let you do your segment right here live from Inside Out. Thank you for calling in, Jay Lee.
Not a problem. I'll be right back. Thank you, Jake.
Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, these phone calls are timed and recorded. So, she'll call back and give another time. So again, J8 said, let's create a movement for that, Jay, to have mental health facilities be built. Absolutely. Why not? I mean, they're better than prisons, right? People commit crimes because they got some type of mental problem in the first place. Crime is committed by your mind. People make these choices and do these things because they just don't know, especially when your mind's not fully mature. And I spoke on this before. Your mind is not fully mature until the age of 25. That's been scientifically proven and backed up by science. Again, Brian said they need to truly evaluate people on all levels before they make their decisions. Absolutely, Brian. Laws get passed through emotions. That's another one, too. I don't know if you guys are aware of. Laws get passed by emotions. Talk to the Christian radio station director about this as a special program to inspire the public. Absolutely. That's a great topic. I might just do that, JH. Thank you for your topic there. So when my colleague Jay Lee, the owner and founder from Inside, calls back, we're going to get involved and have her do her new segment right here live. And then, of course, then you guys can, it's free from there to do whatever you guys want. J8 said they don't, and that's what adds complications to wrongful convictions. Yeah, exactly. And that's why we have the program called Innocent Program, the Innocent Program. If everybody was so guilty, we wouldn't need that program. So many people are trying to get onto that program and get their innocence taken care of. I spoke on this before. If the system was so great, we wouldn't need these programs. So again, the system's corrupt, the system's very bad, and it needs a major overhaul. It's over 100-something years old, and we're using old technology, unfortunately. So that's where we're at with it, ladies and gentlemen. And keep in mind, nothing's going to change until we, the people out here, the taxpayers, the people that are funding this stuff, get off our butts and go down and change it. You guys are absolutely correct. Thank you guys so much for chiming in here and putting your comments in here. You guys are spot on everything. I'm at the point where I'm sick of it.
Recall from
Bear with me, guys.
an incarcerated individual at Washington State Penitentiary. This call is not private. It will be recorded and may be monitored. If you believe this should be a private call, please hang up and follow facility instructions to register this number as a private number. To accept this free call, press 1. To refuse this, thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Welcome back to the show, Jay Lee. When you were gone, I got some people. I want to read some comments off of everybody, and I think you might be tickled pink about some of this stuff. They're spot on. They're on fire tonight on this live, and I do appreciate all the interactions. Let me start off by saying JH said this. They don't, and that's what adds complications to wrongful convictions. That's a dirt. Awesome, great. I appreciate it. Brian said they need to truly evaluate people on all levels before they make their decisions. That was our friend Brian that tuned in here not too long ago. And then JH got in here again, Jay Lee, and said mass has mandatory, and I'm having problems reading. I don't have my glasses on me right now for some reason, so I can't say that or see it. But everybody's spot on. Jay Lee, this is awesome. And Savannah said, while I was incarcerated, all the funding that they received for COVID was spent on new forklifts, new equipment for the prisons. Holy shit. Then went totally missing. I witnessed it in Lompoc, where we had a lawsuit. Jay Lee, your answer on that one. Savannah.
Oh, yeah. Well, Savannah, I'm not surprised at all that the money went to the wrong place because obviously there was no oversight and no accountability, and they've probably been doing it for quite some time. And it's very, very ironic that, taxpayers expect money to go to certain programs to help those who will find themselves unfortunately incarcerated, but yet the funds go in someone else's pocket. It's not surprising to me at all.
Yeah, and 1 second, I got to congratulate somebody. Brian, who's been hitting in here and making some great comments, said that I hit 5 years out myself. So basically, it's a perfect celebration because Brian is celebrating 5 years being out. Congratulations, Brian.
Yeah, congratulations, Brian. Wonderful.
So I hope you can see my typing here. All right. And then Brian said, it's all money scam. Absolutely it is. And your taxpayers are paying for it. So Jay Lee, moving forward, why we get all these people to chime in here. We got 3 people watching now. Thank you guys, all 3 of you. Appreciate you guys. If you want to, let's give the brand new debut of the your brand new segment called Imagine That. Did you want to kick that off right now?
Yeah, it sounds like a plan. We'll go ahead and do that. And if I need more time in the middle of the segment, I'll just call back and conclude the segment. But I'm ready to go when you are. All
right. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, again, bear with me, Jay Lee. I got comments coming in. Savannah said, instead of using the funding to fund their criminal actions, but yet treat us while we were incarcerated like we are animals, they are the real criminals. Absolutely. D.O.C. does not care. And I spoke on that before. JH said they put people in ward 2 weeks and then forensic. And oh my God. Yeah, you're absolutely correct, JH. And Brian said, thanks, man. June 13th. Okay, well, congratulations nonetheless. And JH, thank you for your comment. I do appreciate it. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and kick off the new segment from my owner and founder from Inside Out, the new segment called Imagine That. Let's go ahead and kick it in. And again, if you have any comments, questions, concerns regarding this new segment on this podcast, put it in the chat. Let's go right now.
Good afternoon, my friends, and welcome to the first episode of the new segment entitled Imagine That. What is Imagine That? Well, I'm pleased you asked. During the regular weekly broadcast, we don't get much time to share deeper content or share details on a subject of important discussion. And due to this, we wanted to bring to the table a new segment whereby we can share more in-depth those details where we were lacking before during the week. Therefore, Imagine That was born. And on today's episode, I'll share with you updates and relevant details about an incident which happened last year where I was falsely alleged to have committed a vicious act on an animal. I won't go into a lot of those details here for security reasons. However, I was mistreated because of this by corrections officials in Washington State. And this is a fitting topic for the first episode, so let's get to it. On May 17th, 2022, while I was imprisoned at the City of Monroe Reformatory, I was falsely accused of a vicious act which constituted a felony criminal allegation. To be clear, this incident or act did not take place. The accusation is defamatory, sadistic, vicious in its design, and most of all, not supported by any evidence whatsoever. Despite this fact, I was thrown into the segregation unit, also known as the hole, for 10 months, and while there, I demanded a fair hearing so I could prove my innocence. With factual proof that this event did not take place, as described in the report, I was unfortunately found guilty at the initial hearing. Even though the City of Monroe Police Department conducted an immediate investigation, and soon after this, it concluded that the animal was healthy, was not harmed, and it could be released back onto the prison yard without any medical treatment or evaluation. It was not taken to a vet, and animal control was not contacted because the police found that it was healthy and not harmed. Yet, Washington State Corrections officials kept me confined in segregation, and they did not release me. State Corrections officials provided me with no mercy, along with a lack of compassion and no understanding. After the first hearing, I was able to show a due process violation because D.O.C. hid exculpatory evidence from me, which I became aware of during my investigation. D.O.C. headquarters was then forced to expunge and erase the first hearing's results. I was then infracted again with the same infraction, just amended for the purpose of a second hearing. At the second hearing, I was able to show overwhelming amounts of exculpatory evidence, along with the Monroe Police Report and its findings. Regardless, this did not matter to the hearings officer. He seemed to already have his mind made up before the second hearing took place. It seemed as if there was much behind-the-scenes communications going on before the hearing took place, like a meeting of the minds, surely, and also possibly a collective collusion or conspiracy, maybe. Despite evidence of my actual innocence, I was illogically found guilty a second time, so you know me, I appealed this decision as well. The Associate Superintendent refused to reverse the unfortunate findings at this second hearing, and I appealed to the results of this to D.O.C. headquarters. I worked very hard despite many inhumane obstacles being placed in front of me to show numerous contradictions and inconsistent statements in the infraction reports. The allegations made no common sense and were based on third-party discussion and hearsay. To be clear, not one person directly witnessed this event or act take place, period. The person who made these devastating allegations was Leslie O'Connor. She was the previous reformatory A unit manager and was working in the unit on the day of the incident. She was not a direct witness to it. So why did she feel it was necessary to write this infraction or make this allegation when by her own policies she was not allowed to do this? Her involvement is a clear violation of her own policies and her core D.O.C. training. Only a direct witness is allowed to draft the report, not somebody who hears about an incident via hearsay or third-party discussion. Long story short, there are some updates to share with all my friends and fans of this show. After a year and a month of fighting this infraction and its false allegations, I'm happy to report today that there is now breaking news. On Thursday, June 15, 2023, exactly 1 year and 1 month from the date of the incident, D.O.C. headquarters decided to expunge and dismiss the infraction report in its entirety along with its allegations. The report and its illogical guilty verdict is now completely erased, and I have been completely vindicated. However, many questions remain unanswered. I fully intend to receive appropriate answers and adequate compensation for what D.O.C. officials have done to me and to my good reputation. Leslie O'Connor needs to be immediately fired from employment with D.O.C. We should all demand that this take place as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
To allow her to continue to work for D.O.C. after all she did to me would be unacceptable. All those who fabricated evidence to be used against me, they should also all be fired immediately. Which brings me to my closing thoughts. Recently, my attorney filed a civil lawsuit against Leslie O'Connor and will be asking her direct questions in the near future. More state employees will be added to the case when those involved are identified. Also, I appealed this incident and how during the hearings there was no fair proceeding or due process to the Court of Appeals in Seattle. There's a good news with that case as well. The court said recently that it has merit. It is not frivolous. They appointed me a private attorney and set the case before 3 judges of the court, and this is a very rare decision and usually never is granted. There must be something to my appeal, after all, according to the court's recent decision.
Wow.
And due to all of this, D.O.C. headquarters decided to dismiss and expunge the infraction. I wonder why they did that now. Well, I mean, it's suspicious timing, don't you think? After all I've been through in this unfortunate situation, I've come to learn a very valuable lesson. You can never trust the D.O.C. employees to tell the truth.
Nope.
Instead of removing an innocent person from segregation, they would rather cover up what they did or lie or do their very best to deny it completely.
Absolutely.
Because the truth is too damaging to admit to. Again, the truth is too damaging to admit to, and also it's too painful for them to acknowledge to themselves. Because they are not the heroes in this story. They are a bunch of cowards who stood by while a corrupt state official destroyed a person's good reputation without any remorse. And in the end, the fear of public jury trial caused headquarters to dismiss and expunge this defamatory report. For my family and I, it's not enough.
Right.
We demand that Leslie O'Connor be fired immediately. This act will send a clear message to the rest of them that they cannot behave in this manner and think that they can get away with it. They are not above the law, and justice will prevail.
Absolutely.
This experience will go down in state history as one of the most shameful and horrible actions D.O.C. has done to a person while under its custody and care. To accuse a person falsely, knowing full well that this event did not take place, yet do nothing to reverse course is unimaginable. Yet this is exactly what has happened to me. By the way, your tax dollars are spent to pay the D.O.C. officials' salaries after this event took place. This should cause outrage in all of you. We should all demand that the responsible parties be disciplined and, if necessary, fired immediately.
There you go.
Now, for those of you who want to know how I'm doing today, simply put, I'm an emotional wreck. My health is not good. My mind is not right. I cry often and have trouble sleeping at night because I fear that D.O.C. staff will come to get me in the middle of the night to abuse me some more. The reality of it all hasn't truthfully sunk in yet, but one day it will, and when that happens, I will continue to need outside support. For now, I'm celebrating a great victory today, and would love it if you would celebrate this victory with me. Here's to us. We work together to make victory happen. For this, celebrate yourself today. I would also like to take this time to personally thank Jay for his ongoing efforts in helping me cope and deal with these issues, along with the fact that he traveled to visit me long hours while I was in segregation and did so numerous times, and he never gave up on me. And for this, I am truly grateful and appreciate him more than he will ever know. You should all be thanking him today on my behalf because he truly deserves it.
Thank you.
And on top of all of this, many organizations and support groups came to my rescue during these tough times. Those organizations are, to name a few, Black and Pink Northwest, with Summer Webster, Scout, and the entire team. Also, Beyond These Walls from Portland, Oregon, and Biff, Haley, Tristan, and the entire team there. Thank you to all of you for all your hard work. Lastly, but surely not the least, there were at least 20 plus people emailing D.O.C. headquarters over and over again demanding my release from segregation, and this put necessary pressure on D.O.C. to do the right thing and investigate this matter. It was very, very helpful indeed, and I thank each and every one of you for emailing D.O.C. headquarters. You know, this event took much energy out of me and took the wind out of my sails. Yet here I am today, still standing tall, speaking about this outrage and demanding appropriate changes be made within this injustice system. If you would like to help me in this project, and you feel what happened to me was unjust and inhumane, then now is the time for you to get involved. You may reach me by emailing voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. That's voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. And let's get the word out about this story and others like it so that this abuse is prevented in the future. Working together, we can make change happen in a positive direction from inside out. And the joy of this makes me say, imagine that.
Hold on. Had a little technical difficulty there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you just heard from our good colleague and Jay Lee from the brand new segment called Imagine That. And Jay Lee, thank you so much for taking the time out and putting that out there. You are very, very much appreciated on that. And in a sense, congratulations too. And what I mean by that is congratulations, even though it's a weird way to get it, on your case and what's happening with you on that. I can't be, more pleased of the fight that you have, even though it's been a hell of a emotional roller coaster for you. So much love and respect coming from all of us here from Inside Out, and all of the viewers watching right now are pretty happy that you got this fight, even though it's been rough. And you're another testament, if you will, that when you ask that question to me, that you are proving to all of us that you have the willpower, the mindset and whatnot to keep fighting this corruption. And I can't even begin to put in words how grateful and appreciated I am with you doing that. So Jay Lee, thank you so much for that brand new segment. Imagine That.
Thank you, Jay, for allowing me to do that. And thank you to all our fans out there for supporting me and rooting me on. It's truly an honor to be here and to walk with you during these past 5 years. And here's to us. I hope another 5 years with more exciting stuff comes down the road.
Absolutely. And we got 2 people watching now. So I'm going to read off some of these comments that were coming in during your segment. I don't know if I told you this case. Did I hit? I don't know if I did or not, but anyways, make it short and sweet here for you without dragging it out. There was a case that took place, I believe it was Florida, nonetheless, of a individual named Cameron. It was all over the news. It was a breaking news event. His name was Cameron. Do you remember that name?
It's familiar.
Car accident. He was racing.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, he was racing and caused a car accident, and a few people died, including a child. And he's going through a major drastic situation. He's innocent in this case because he wasn't the driver. He was just, I guess, from what I gather, he was just a passenger. He wasn't the driver, but he's still getting mistreated in a Florida prison. And they're doing so many things that I really don't know if I should touch on right here, right now. But Cameron is innocent, and there's a lot going on with that. So I'm talking to people with that case. And Savannah said fired with your case. So that person needs to be fired. She agrees. The person that was in the car accident I just spoke on, his name is Cameron. He's in Graceville Correctional Facility, and you all know how hard it is to survive having a child killer tagged. You know that. Call back if you want, Jay Lee.
Yep, I'll call right back.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you guys can see, we're dealing with a lot of stuff. I appreciate every single one of you chiming in here and getting your comments heard. And then, of course, Assad, I think I said your name right. Assad, I apologize. I don't mean to beat up your guys' names. Please help Cameron. I'm doing all I can on my end. I'm talking to a lady named Peace on Twitter. And I'm communicating with her or him and letting them know what they need to do. Cameron needs to be put in PC. Okay, real quick. Cameron needs to be put in PC. What's PC? Protective custody. Okay, protective custody. He needs to be moved into protective custody where his incarceration situation would be a little bit better. Okay, I hope that makes sense. JH said, it sickens me that those in power take advantage of those they control inside. Absolutely. Excuse me, bear with me, guys.
Jay Lee.
incarcerated individual at
So,
Washington State Penitentiary. This call is
so Assad,
it will be
and again, I hope I said your name correctly.
If you believe this should be a private call, please hang
He
up
needs
and
to
follow
get
the instructions
into
to register this
PC,
number
protective
as a private
custody.
number. To accept this free call, press 1. To refuse this free thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Welcome back, Jay Lee. A lot going on in the chat. Do you have anything going on before I read some more stuff off the chat?
No, go ahead, Jay. Definitely interested in hearing what you got to say.
And welcome back to the show too, by the way. I told Assad, the one that's dealing with Cameron in a Florida prison, nonetheless, they need to move him to PC. And Jay Lee, being that you're currently still locked up and know about PC and how all that crap works, if you could please touch base on how we can get Cameron moved to PC. And I understand all prisons are different when it comes to that type of process or protocol. You got any insight on how you can get this person moved to PC? Jay Lee, go ahead.
Yeah, from what I've been hearing about this unfortunate situation in the Florida prison, you really got to put pressure on the state governor's office and also the director of the California Department, Florida Department of Corrections. And you really, really, really got to put on the pressure to get that to happen, because the local officials at that local facility, they probably are sadistic mentally, and they probably sit back and they watch it happen, and they don't care too much about someone's safety, especially somebody like that. So it's going to take a lot of political pressure to get that to happen. And so the effort to move him to that location needs to happen now. We can't hesitate. We're talking about his life is in danger. So
it is in danger.
Definitely got to get the pressure on the governor's office and also on the director of the Florida Department of Corrections.
Absolutely, sis. And to give you kind of a recap what's going on, I talked to a lady on named Peace on Twitter, and believe it or not, there's bite marks on him. I'm just gonna. I don't want to get too detailed. I don't want to cause a lot of turmoil, but this has got to get out. I can't keep hush about this, sis. Jay Lee, there's bite marks on her neck. There's, I guess, there's no bedding, no blankets, no mattress in his cell. They're not treating him correctly. He gets beat up all the time by staff and inmates. He's being abused on all levels, and I'm not going to get, you know what I'm talking about, abused on all levels. There's a lot of stuff going on with this young man that, of course, I get why it's happening, because, he killed a child. So he's tagged as a child killer, and that's big no-no in there. The prison politics are running deep in there, sis. And, and I guess he's naked in his cell. They won't give him any clothes. Your take?
Yeah, that is so disgusting to hear, especially in today's day and age when, that corrections department has been sued so many times on similar issues. You think they'd wake up and learn their lesson, but it just goes to show you another example of how corrections officials, when they have power, they abuse it. They don't care. It's like no one will ever hold them accountable, or they've gotten away with it before, so that they can get away with it now. Like I said, the only way to put pressure on the situation to get it changed is you have to do a phone or letter writing or email campaign and get that started immediately to put pressure on the appropriate office and hold them accountable. I don't want to say that there may be the unfortunate situation of a wrongful death suit, but if the situation goes south and that person ends up losing their life, then you want to be able to have the right kind of cards in the right kind of order to use at the right time. And so, as dark as that sounds, you want to be prepared for the worst, but expect the best. And the only way to get to the best situation is to do that campaign immediately and do a call to action and put pressure on the governor's office and the leader of the corrections department.
Absolutely. And JH just chimed in here and said he's in a Florida prison. I mentioned that. He was framed. Absolutely. He didn't kill a child, zero intent accident. So again, I'm trying to figure out how to put this in words. The system's corrupt. The system's not fair. It's not just. There's no justice in our justice system. And you know, basically we got to get lawyers. We got to get people that actually want to seriously fight against this corruption in this case with Cameron. So again, I'm doing all I can to put a stink on this, guys. But again, if Florida prison's doing all these things to Cameron, somebody needs to stand up and make a shitstorm out of this. That is inhumane treatment, and it's not allowed. Period. Prison politics or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a point to make on that. What just came to mind is, even if it costs a few $100 at the start, we should do a fundraising campaign to hire an attorney to do one visit, have the attorney go in there and have an attorney visit with this person, and basically just pay the attorney to go and see him. Now, they can't legally stop Cameron from visiting with his attorney. This is a way for an attorney to go in there and check on him, have a meeting with him, and where Cameron can get the news out and explain to the attorney what's going on.
They're doing it, though.
And then the attorney can use that evidence to go and make change happen.
They're doing that, though, regardless what you just said, sis. With all due respect, they're still doing it. They're not complying. They're breaking all their policies.
Well, I understand that, but they're doing it to the attorney because, if the attorney knows about it, what has the attorney done, if anything?
Right. Again, I really don't know. No one wants to touch this, if you know what I mean. So. Yeah,
it would be highly unethical and a violation of the bond rules for an attorney to be aware that this is going on and do nothing about it. That attorney could lose his license.
Okay, listen to this. More comments coming on this topic. Assad, again, I do apologize if I'm saying your name incorrectly. It's not my intention, so please bear with me. I do apologize for beating up your name. Said this. Yes, at the time, and that judge did not even allow his request for juvenile. I'm not sure what that means. And then she gets back in here and says, yes, and he became witness against him. Talking about the case.
Okay. Well, that's even worse, because if he is looked upon as a snitch or an informant against his co-defendant, then that may be one of the reasons why they're going really hard at him, because in Florida corrections, the common code is you don't tell on a co-defendant. If there's a record that he actually turned state's evidence against his co-defendant, then yes, he's viewed as worse than a cockroach.
Okay, and some more insight for you, sis. And again, keep in mind, this is all educational stuff anyway. So I'm learning, you're learning, these people on the chat are learning. We're learning all this stuff. So again, I want you to know, out here in Florida, according to, like when my wife got in a car accident a few years back when we used to live here before, this state is considered a no fault state. Do you know what that means?
Well, there's different interpretations, but what is Florida's interpretation of that?
Florida means when they say no fault state, if you get in a car accident, it's nobody's fault. Nobody really takes blame for one another's car accident. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it. So, like, for example, my wife got in a car wreck. The person still got in trouble to a certain extent, but it's no fault state.
Yeah, that needs to change.
So that's the reason why they're kind of really making this car accident a big shit show down there with Cameron.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Well, again, I mean, the only way to see change happen as soon as possible is to put the pressure on the right officials. Otherwise, there's no record of anybody putting pressure. They're not going to care. So you have to show state officials that people care about this person, and then those state officials will start paying more attention to it. Maybe they'll do something about it. But again, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So state officials will want to, allow this to happen. There's not much that can be done.
Yeah, and that's where we're at with it, sis. And I keep telling these people, with all due respect, what to do. We just need more pressure, ladies and gentlemen. With all due respect, I love every single one of you. I appreciate you guys reaching out to me and asking me what to do. Jay Lee's another advocate that's very knowledgeable in this field. With our two heads put together, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to help you guys and understand what your power is. Your power is right here. Your power is right here, and your power is right here. 3 pieces of your own body parts: your brain, your mouth, and your hands are tools to bring change to our system. You need to really,
That's right.
you really need to put the pressure on, ladies and gentlemen. Like I've said before in my campaign for my t-shirts, pressure bursts pipes. And again, without that, nothing's gonna happen. You're a taxpayer. You're paying for this. Get down there and make a storm out of this. Jaylee?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it should be an outrage to everybody listening and everybody who will eventually listen to this broadcast is that your taxpayer dollars are paying the salary of these officials for allowing this corruption to take place. We should demand accountability immediately.
Right. I totally agree. And we're dealing with everything from, like I said before, we're dealing with some pretty serious stuff, but it shouldn't be there at all, period. It should not happen at all, but it happens. One of the things now that's going to really be picking up here business-wise is AC problems. I spoke on it at the beginning of this live. We're going to have AC problems out here, and it's going to happen. People are going to die and cook to death in these prisons. So get a hold of me if that's happening in your prison out here in the deep south somewhere. And of course, we got food problems. We got dental problems. And I want you to listen to this, Jaylee. Our good friend Sherry, who is also on Twitter in South Carolina, her locked up loved one, her husband, in a South Carolina prison is being denied medical treatment, dental, and everything else. Your take on that? Gosh.
Wow. It just seems to be a recurring theme in all of these different locations. Eighth Amendment violation all the way, and especially with the dental issue where the bacteria and the germs will spread if there is a cavity or a dental disease, and it gets into the jaw, and if it gets too far, it gets into the bloodstream, then you have septic shock. I can't imagine the kind of pain that person's going through, but it's common sense. When you take an oath as a doctor or a nurse, your first tenet of your oath is to do no harm to nobody. And if the people working at the prison are actually doing nothing and being negligent and causing harm to their patients, then they're violating their own oath.
Yeah.
So digging down deep into these stories, you tend to see all the dirt that they try to cover up. And most importantly, Eighth Amendment claims have been very successful on dental issues and most all medical issues that are brought forth, because
right.
The federal law is pretty clear. State law is also pretty clear in most all 50 states, and of course the Constitution is very clear on it's our right to have adequate and meaningful medical care while incarcerated.
Right, and you're spot on, sis. I appreciate that. Assad said during the, and this is the person that's dealing with the Cameron case. Assad said they're trying, but his appeal was dismissed. Even Nash dismissed his reduction motion as he wanted reduced sentence so that he could study, yet Nash rejected it. Very interesting. Of course, that's going to happen in a corrupt system because everybody's out for themselves. No one cares, but we do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's why, we did the first segment of Imagine That on that topic of another story of corruption. I mean, in this one, it's very, very clear that it was a lie from the beginning. And look at the harm they did to me and my friend over a lie where they had to cover up with another lie. And so when you catch them, though, when you catch them in the act, then you can make meaningful change happen. And so I guess my story is a prime example, and others as well. I mean, this system is not perfect. The system's falling apart, especially during COVID. It really shook the system up.
Well, it's over 100-something years old. It's over 100-something years old, sis. I believe it's close to 200-year-old system. Go figure.
Oh, right. Well, the one that I was currently at is definitely 120 years old. The walls are falling apart. But again, there's been little to no maintenance at these older facilities, and the facilities are falling apart. That's why the beauty of this podcast was created. We were able to give a voice to those who otherwise wouldn't have one. Right.
And when I was saying earlier about the 100-plus-year-old system, I'm talking about the system in general, not the prisons. The system's over 100-something years old, almost close to 200-something years old, and we're still using old-time stuff. And it needs reformed and bring in today's technology so things can get better.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you hear that term, and this is kind of funny and ironic, but you hear that term over and over again, go to hell. You probably actually said that yourself one time in your life, where you say the words go to hell. Well, the first jail ever created in history was a jail for the king. One of the old monarchies had a king who built a jail, and the jail was called hell. And the king would say, go to hell, and that means you're going to jail. So that's where that term came from. And
Imagine that.
they don't even know that they're talking about a jail.
Imagine that. Wow. Redeeming Patriot, how's it going, my brother? I appreciate you coming in here tonight. Appreciate it. Thanks for celebrating our 5 years being on YouTube and being a supporter for this channel. Redeeming said the only way to fix this is to review and explain in simplest terms. Absolutely. Thank you. Redeeming also said, why don't we acknowledge we don't look into every detail? Absolutely. And of course, JH also got in here and said, I helped get process of law started in that state where lives were taken by COVID because, Wrath refused masks to detainees awaiting trials. Innocent till proven guilty was not admitted policy. Well, there's another saying. I know there's a saying. It's called "You're innocent until proven in court of law." Proven guilty in a court of law. It's actually the other way around. You're guilty until proven innocent in court of law. So I can't stand the system. It drives me. It just makes me sick. And then of course, JH got in here and said, "Path didn't arrive for 30, letting the suffocating suicide kids hanging themselves suffer. They could have saved them." Yeah, I get it, guys. I get it. And the system's not going to get any better until we get off our asses and do something about it. But before I get out of here, because I've been on live now for over an hour, hour and 6 minutes to be exact. I don't want to drag this out anymore. If you guys got questions, comments, concerns relating somebody locked up in a prison somewhere, get a hold of me right now. voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. Once again, it's all one word, voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. Let's do something. Let's hook up. Let's talk. Let's debate. And of course, I'm going to give Jay Lee a chance to say her last words, if you will. But ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot on our plate. I will keep you updated with all the information and whatnot going on here in Florida with me, the podcast, new podcast coming up. Got a lot going on. Man, it's a very interesting thing, and my plate and my calendar is getting extremely full, so bear with me, guys. So coming up on my next podcast, a little tidbit information. I'm going to be talking about a topic that don't get talked about much. And it's going to be called the prison mindset. Basically, convict mindset. What is that? Where does it come from and all of that? Stay tuned for that podcast coming up here real soon. I think it's going to be a very interesting one at least. And so again, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you tuning in. Jay Lee, do you have anything on closing comments?
Yeah, thanks, Jay. I appreciate it. I just want to say it's definitely a day of celebration. Not only did I get the false infraction thrown out and get my custody points back and get promoted and moving on in the positive direction over here, thank God. We celebrate 5 years today. Definitely a milestone. We'll be able to walk in these shoes together and travel along this road of success and despair together as we help each other. So excited about all of this and what this podcast has in store in the future. And of course, from behind the scenes in here, and we're going to be doing a lot of work to help support this and promote it and advertise it, and definitely try to get more fans involved. Because, like I said before, the more people get involved, the more voices are on the table, and the more change can happen. So, word of mouth is the best advertising.
Yes.
So, my last request to everybody today is, just talk to one person today or this week about this podcast. Get the word out, and then word of mouth will be the best way to advertise, because we want to get as many people in here as possibly can to try and promote this show. Again, thank you so much for celebrating with us. Greatly appreciate it. And I look forward to our next show. And until then, I remain from inside out right here in Walla Walla. Thank you so much, Jay.
Thank you, Jay, for tuning in. I appreciate it. And thank you for your insight and information. You're our godsend. Thank you so much for creating this podcast. You have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Love you.
You too. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it right there. The colleague, my founder and owner from Inside Out, Jay Lee, in a prison in Walla Walla, Washington, still incarcerated. She's been down since 1994. Let's work together as a team and let's help get her out too as well. With all of you that tuned in here tonight, I'm going to do all I can. I give you my word. I'm going to do all I can to help all of you that are tuned in here tonight. All, you know who you are, JH, Assad, Redeeming. If you have any problems, I will help you too as well. Brian, Savannah, I think I said all your names in here anyways. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will do what I can to help. Just reach out to me. Again, voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in and celebrating this 5 years on YouTube. Hopefully we can make it another 5 years. With that said, I'm your host, Jay. I will see you all on the next podcast, either pre-recorded or live right here in our studios from Inside Out. Good night, everybody.